Well, welcome everybody. If you're not aware of what we're doing Power Talks, and this one is going to be on alternative energy in DC systems. If anybody is shy or is not sure that their wife knows they're here and doesn't want to be in the video, we are recording this for promotional purposes, so just kind of keep out of the way. Not that anybody's going to recognize you from the back of your head, probably anyway, so just that caveat, disclaimer. Anyway, we're going to talk about alternative energy and primarily solar. We can use solar energy to either offset operating costs in terms of regular utility. That tends to be a little difficult because I don't know what you pay in your area, but in Texas we pay around 9-10 cents a kilowatt hour, and it's tough to compete with that from the utility, but it is possible. And there are occasions where you're off-grid, where you may be able to very easily compete with $50,000 or $60,000 a mile to extend the grid to your location. That's pretty easy to compete with. Anyway, Eco Priority Source is our product which is used for processing energy from solar panels. We typically take 5 or 6 solar panels and put them in series, and take the DC output from that series of solar panels and feed it to our Eco Priority Rectifier, which accepts the DC power directly. That DC power is converted directly into 48 volt DC or 24 volt DC, depending on which product you buy, ready-made for charging batteries, just like you're used to in your cell site or your remote site or your outside power system, whatever it happens to be. So you don't go through the conversion step of a microinverter and then a rectifier back to DC. You go directly into the 48 volt DC. The nice thing about the Eco Priority Rectifier is that it's kind of universal. You're able to use the same rectifier for different sources. The same rectifier, or at least the same part number, not the same physical one, but the same identical part, can be used for processing power from a generator, from the utility, from a wind turbine, or from the solar cells. And it recognizes the kind of source that it's being driven from and prioritizes the renewable sources. So if you've got wind energy available, you're not going to pull energy from the utility. You're not going to start up the generator. You're going to use the wind energy. Same thing with solar. During the day when the sun is shining, if that's available, that's what you use first. So it reduces your dependence on fuel for your generator or power that you draw from the utility. Same rectifier is used no matter what the source is, so you only have to stock one item. If you need spares, it's the same thing no matter what. It also fits if you've got Infinity systems out there already with the previous generation Infinity rectifiers. You can unplug those rectifiers and plug in one of these new ones, hook up your alternative source to the back of the backplane, and you're ready to go. The controller, at worst, might need a software update to accommodate some new features, but it's able to tell you on an ongoing basis how much energy you've driven from each source and how much you've used. I've already mentioned the solar energy goes directly to 48 volts or to 24 volts, depending on which flavor system you've got, without any interim steps. Every interim step where you convert it to something else is a loss. And when you're dealing with something like solar energy, every loss is very important. You want to minimize those losses. And as we talked about on-grid, off-grid, you can use it with an on-grid application and use it to just, because it uses this priority algorithm, it'll reduce your usage of the utility when the sun is shining. The nice thing about that is that you don't have to worry about cycling the batteries, because if you only use what's available during the day and then use the grid at night, you don't have to generate enough and store it and constantly been charging and discharging batteries every day. So you can use a solar overlay on an existing system and just reduce your utility bill. So that's another way of looking at it. And that's our 3 or 4 minutes. Our power talks are nice and short.